I left my wife with nothing after discovering her betrayal. I'm 33, and 6 months ago, I married the woman I thought was my soulmate. She's 27, and we'd been dating for a year before tying the knot. We met online, and as a self-proclaimed nerd, I was captivated when such a beautiful woman expressed interest in me. I fell head over heels, and she knew it. I'd have done anything for her. I run a demanding small business that often keeps me away from home. Before taxes, I was earning $150,000 annually while she wasn't working at all. She depended entirely on me, and I didn't mind. Looking back, I let her laziness slide. She rarely cleaned, cooked, or contributed, but I allowed it because I thought she loved me. 2 months into our marriage, she told me she was pregnant. I was out of town at the time and dropped everything to come back the next day. A visit to the clinic confirmed she was 2 months along. I was overjoyed. I began mentally preparing for fatherhood, already envisioning a future as a family man. A week later, my world came crashing down. I stopped by the house unexpectedly to grab something for work. Her car was in the garage, and as I entered, I heard noise coming from our bedroom. My heart sank. The door was wide open. There she was, with another man. She was 2 months pregnant, but that didn't stop her from betraying me. As I stood frozen, she had the audacity to blurt out, "It's not what it looks like." I walked away in silence, grabbed what I needed, and told her she had to be gone by the time I got back. She tried calling and texting, but I ignored her. That night, I contacted my lawyer and a trusted friend. My friend confirmed she left with some belongings, and I changed all the locks on the house. She didn't go quietly. She demanded $2,000 per month in alimony for 5 years, claimed the baby was mine, and even insisted on staying on my health insurance. I wasn't about to reward her betrayal. My attorney was brilliant, advising me to stay calm and let him handle everything. We hired a private investigator who uncovered the truth. She had been cheating the entire time. Before, during, and even after we got married. The investigator found 2 former lovers willing to testify, who shared how she schemed to keep her infidelity hidden. The pie also revealed her reckless spending on a credit card I had forgotten to cancel, $5,000 spent on nights out with her lover. The evidence piled up. Photos, affidavits, and records painted a damning picture. It became clear she had calculated every move, taking full advantage of my long work hours. Her behavior during her pregnancy was particularly shocking. At 3 months along, she was photographed partying in the back room of a club with multiple men. When the court date came, my lawyer presented an airtight case. The judge ruled in my favor, eliminating her alimony claims and confirming I wasn't responsible for the child. She left the marriage with nothing but the belongings she'd taken initially. Her family tried to guilt me, accusing me of ruining her life. But after I shared the investigators' findings, they went silent. That was the last I heard from them. Today, I'm earning $250,000 annually and living a life free from deceit. Though the experience was painful, it taught me the value of trusting actions over words. I don't regret walking away. Her betrayal was a harsh lesson, but one I'll never forget. I realized I was being played. At the time, I chalked up her manipulative behavior to a game, a twisted attempt to outmaneuver me. The divorce process was grueling, taking 6 months and a day to finalize in California. Today, it might take just 6 weeks, assuming there's no contest. Surprisingly, my divorce was emotionally taxing. I'm not sharing this to gain sympathy, but in the hope that my experience might help someone recognize the signs I missed. Looking back, I wonder if there were subtle hints I was too blind to see. I still analyze the situation, replaying every memory in my head. The financial toll? Immense. My attorney fees totaled $112,000, equivalent to about 6 months of alimony payments. Considering the alternative, potentially paying her $2,000 per month for 5 years or longer, I actually saved money. During the final hearing, when all the facts came out, the judge ruled against granting her alimony. Since the divorce, I haven't seen her, though I know she's in Arizona. How? She tried applying for credit in my name 3 times. As for the child she was supposedly pregnant with, it wasn't mine. I'm almost certain she tried to trick me into raising another man's baby. That's a harsh pill to swallow, but I've accepted my part in it. I was manipulated, and I let myself be. Every day, she lives with the consequences of her choices. I imagine she knows what she lost. Meanwhile, I've been thriving, growing the business I co-own and increasing my income. Yes, she caused me pain, but her ultimate punishment is living with what she did. The betrayal itself was unforgettable. Some people think I should have acted differently when I caught her in bed with another man. Why didn't you confront them? They ask. The truth is, I considered it, but walking away was the best decision. It avoided physical escalation and let me keep my dignity intact. In hindsight, I see it all clearly now. I was rarely home, always working long hours, exhausted when I returned. She took advantage of my trust, my transparency, and my schedule. Am grateful, though, for one small blessing. This TB test I took 2 days after catching her came back negative. Oh, and about the baby. She planned to pass it off as mine. After the divorce, when the child was born, the truth came out. The baby was of Asian descent, something she tried to explain with an elaborate story about her grandmother's heritage. In reality, she'd been sleeping around, and the father was unknown. Word has it she gave the baby up for adoption. It's a sad situation, but I'm relieved not to be tied to her anymore. Now let's talk about Maddie. We were 6 weeks away from our 25th wedding anniversary when I discovered her multi-year affair with a 33-year-old bartender from New York City. Maddie, my wife of nearly 3 decades, was 48 at the time I was 49. Together, we have one adult son, now 24. I thought we had a perfect marriage. Maddie was my best friend, the person I trusted most. We rarely argued, shared amazing chemistry, and kept our relationship exciting. Romantic dates, adventurous vacations, even spontaneous moments in unconventional places. It felt like we had it all. But I was wrong. The discovery was devastating. I didn't find a suspicious text or walk in on them. Instead, Sarah, the bartender's ex-girlfriend, reached out to me on LinkedIn. At first, I thought it was some cruel prank, but Sarah wasn't joking. She had pictures, videos, and explicit messages between Maddie and her lover. The images were seared into my brain. Watching Maddie in intimate moments with a stranger was unbearable. That level of betrayal cuts deep, and I knew I could never forgive her. The affair spanned 3 years. It began during Maddie's business trips to New York. She'd fly out on Sunday and return Tuesday evening, staying at a hotel near her office. There, she met her younger lover. Their encounters were supposedly limited to 5 occasions, but I find that hard to believe. Sarah found out about the affair 6 months after it ended, discovering explicit messages on her ex's phone. When she confronted him, He admitted to everything. She kicked him out, and he was forced to leave Manhattan and move back to Long Island. So why did Maddie end it? According to Sarah, Maddie claimed she loved me and wanted to save our marriage. Hearing that only added to my confusion. If she truly loved me, how could she betray me so profoundly? My decision was clear: divorce. There was no path to reconciliation. Trust was gone, replaced by haunting memories. I kept my plans quiet, acting normal while preparing to serve her divorce papers. When the day arrived, everything went according to plan. I moved my belongings into storage and had the papers delivered to her office. Her reaction was immediate. She called, crying, begging to explain. I calmly told her I knew about everything and had already made up my mind. She tried calling repeatedly. Each time, I sent her another picture from Sarah's collection. Then came the fallout. Maddie confessed to my parents and hers, claiming she'd been in therapy for a year and had a sex addiction. Both sets of parents urged me to reconsider, citing her efforts to change. But to me, that was just an excuse. Actions have consequences, and the consequence of infidelity is divorce. My resolve hasn't wavered. Maddie disrupted my life, and now it's her turn to face the consequences. My advice to others? Never become complacent in your marriage. Stay vigilant. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like mine, remember, you deserve better than betrayal. When I first learned of Maddie's betrayal, I didn't know what to think. Divorce felt inevitable, but there were complications. Maddie's parents had become like family to me, and losing them would add to the heartbreak. That night, Maddie called repeatedly, but I ignored her. By Saturday morning, my son called. He revealed Maddie had confessed everything to him the night before. I give her credit for that. She owned up to her actions and came clean to our entire family. My son expressed his disgust with her behavior and assured me of his support, no matter my decision. He even added that if his girlfriend ever cheated, he'd leave her immediately. Though I was determined to divorce, I dreaded the judgment from both families. I knew rushing the process could make me look impulsive, so I held back. Second update. Facing Maddie after reflecting on advice, both helpful and harsh, I decided to meet Maddie despite my lawyer's strong objections. I scheduled the meeting at her parents' house with my son, our in-laws, and my mom nearby. The plan was simple: allow her 1 hour to explain herself. The meeting was emotionally draining but revealing. Maddie expressed her love for me, called her affair foolish and meaningless, and confessed she'd been in therapy for a year. She claimed therapy helped her uncover insecurities about her appearance and worth, which she blamed for the affair. When she asked how she could win back my trust, I told her bluntly she couldn't. Her actions left scars that no amount of therapy could erase. She even proposed a one-sided open relationship, allowing me to date others while she remained faithful. I rejected the idea outright, telling her I wasn't like her. The hour ended with Maddie in tears, begging for another chance. I left without a word, taking the recorded conversation with me. That evening, Maddie texted me, thanking me for meeting her. I didn't respond. Third update. The divorce is final. Last Wednesday, our divorce was finalized. We split assets equally, and Maddie bought out my share of the family home, hoping we might reconcile someday. The process took a heavy emotional toll. At one point, a judge mandated 60 days of counseling before proceeding. Though I resented it, I complied, knowing resistance could backfire. Maddie, to her credit, made the process smoother than it could have been. To thank her for that, I took her out to dinner the night after the divorce. Back at her house, we ended up being physically intimate for the first time in over a year. I realized I couldn't live with her again, but my desire for her hadn't vanished. Where we stand now, Maddie and I have a strange arrangement. We're divorced, but we occasionally see each other for physical intimacy. She's expressed her hope for reconciliation, but I've been clear. When I start dating seriously, our arrangement will end. Though life isn't perfect, I finally feel optimistic about my future. This chapter of my life taught me the value of self-respect and the strength to walk away from betrayal, even when emotions make it hard.